Hey guys, how you doing? Eric at SoCal Cigars here. Hope you are having an amazing Memorial Day weekend. I know I have been, and I'm about to make it a little bit better by smoking a cigar. Uh, so the cigar I'm doing today, which you've already seen in the name of the description, I ran across at a brick and mortar shop. Again, I guess if you smoke cigars long enough, you kind of always think there's really nothing new on the horizon very often. But what I do seem to keep running across is that I find cigars that I had never heard of that have actually been around a while. And that's sort of what happened again. So I was at a brick and mortar shop near my house, and I was buying a gift for a friend of mine who is buying a little travel herfador for. And of course, being in a cigar shop, I had to obviously wander around and scope things out, make sure I wasn't missing something amazing. And I did run across at the last, I was just literally about to pay, and I ran across this, and maybe you've heard of it. I hadn't. It is just simply called M by Macanudo. Normally, Macanudos are not in my, I'd say not in my wheelhouse. They're just not a brand that I frequent, let's say. Because I know there's a couple brands out there that people love. Macanudo, Perdomo, there's a bunch of them. But I've just never really either tried enough of them to find ones I really dig, or they just aren't. I guess for me, I'm so much into infused cigars and like Drew Estates type stuff that usually your standard cigar companies that don't normally make any kind of an infused cigar, I maybe just don't run across. But this is an infused cigar by Macanudo. So if that surprises you, it may very well, because it surprised me. So what I'll do is what I like to do with you guys is I printed this out just to give you a rundown of this cigar, so you can maybe get a good shot of it. I picked it up and I smelled it, and I'm like, wow! I go, that smells freaking awesome. It's this is a 6x50, and it just literally just says Macanudo coffee. That's what it says in the back. So let me read this for you. M Coffee by Macanudo, and this is from Macanudo's website. It says the evolution of Macanudo continues with M, the brand's first flavor-infused cigar. With sophisticated nuances of gourmet coffee, this aromatic cigar also features notes of cedar, earth, and spice. Crafted with only the finest hand-selected leaves, M offers a silky Indonesian Besuki wrapper, Philippine binder, and blend of Nicaraguan and other fine tobaccos. The result is a smooth, creamy cigar that retains a medium-bodied edge. So again, the quick rundown from their own website is the wrapper is Indonesian, the binder is Philippine, the filler is Nicaraguan and just other fine tobaccos, and their flavor profile, they're saying it's mild to medium. So let's get this started. I'm kind of looking forward to this because, you know, being into the infused cigar action, to find something that I had never tried and seen before was kind of exciting for me. So let's take a look. See that kind of cellophane wrapper? It looks like it's probably stained, so it looks like it's probably got a lot of infusing going on in here. Let me get that first initial whiff. Wow. Really, really powerful aroma. I'll tell you, you know what this reminds me of? This smells to me like an aromatic pipe tobacco. Interesting. Let's see if I can get a nice view of that for you. And what it says on the back is it says sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. This isn't. Handmade premium cigar, coffee. That's all it says. All right, let's break out the old trusty traveling kit here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do the old V-cut like usual. Just creature habit. I just love it. So let's get this snipped. As you know, stick her on in there. One little snippy-roo. You got that nice V-cut. If you have never tried a V-cut, I recommend it. Let's just get an initial taste of the cap and a draw. Draws good. Someone had said the cap's sweet, and they didn't like that. This is not very sweet. So I'll tell you, on the dry draw, this tastes to me like pipe tobacco, aromatic pipe tobacco. So I'll be really interested to see how this pans out, because I do like pipe tobacco. But I'll warn you ahead of time what I've said before in pipe videos, the few I have, is that a lot of people get disappointed by pipe tobacco because it smells like candy, but then when you light it and smoke it, it basically tastes like tobacco. So I'm curious to see now what this is gonna do, given that it smells very aromatic. It's I do get a hint of coffee, not an overwhelming amount of coffee. What I really get the most is that strong pipe tobacco aromatic, almost like a Cavendish, as they call it, I think. Anyway, let's toast the foot and let's just get this going. Don't want to take up all of the rest of your Memorial Day. Toasty toasty, right? We know how to do that. See what my initial thought is on the first couple draws here. And as you know, you can't really trust the first couple draws, but in case you're wondering. Interesting. I'm getting a very familiar flavor. It takes me back a few years. Because that said spice, right? Remember? This said spice. I'll tell you, the first thing I tasted? Cloves. It tastes like smoking a clove. If you remember Dejarum, I'll put a little picture up. If you remember smoking Dejarum cloves, that came, again, I'll put the picture up. It came in like a little tin. It was like a burgundy and white or something, black. The first initial flavors I'm getting, I'm telling you, it tastes like a clove cigarette. This is back in the late 80s. Anyway, let's get into a little bit. Again, it's, for me, I'm not too big on telling you too much before we get a little bit into it, because it changes from the very beginning. You know that. And again, the pairing I did with coffee, because I did read that a lot of people had indicated that this is a good breakfast cigar and that it goes good with coffee. So, and out of my appropriate mug for today, Memorial Day. And touching on that, I did want to touch on Memorial Day a little bit. So I know a lot of people fully understand Memorial Day. I think there's a lot of people that sort of understand what Memorial Day is. And I think there's also people that really don't have a real grasp of what Memorial Day is, other than they're pretty stoked it's a 3-day weekend. I've had, I wasn't in the military, but my grandfather was in World War II in the Pacific Islands. My dad was in the Navy in Vietnam on a destroyer. My uncle was in during Vietnam and was actually stationed in Germany. One of my uncles was a high up, can't remember what you call it, but I think he was like basically one of the highest guys in the Navy on an aircraft carrier. Sorry, I'm not familiar. I can't remember what the title is, and I don't want to be wrong. I'd rather just say I don't know than be wrong on that. And then I had another uncle in the Army Corps of Engineers. So I've had a lot of, and I ride with a lot of people that are veterans and even some current military enlisted. So a lot of these things are, dear to me. And even my shirt, the chapter I ride with, we support, veterans organizations. Even at the company I'm at, we do an event every Super Bowl, and we host 500 active duty Marines from Camp Pendleton. So, days like this to me actually, they mean a lot. And but I don't knock anyone that doesn't really understand it, because I think to some people, especially in newer generations, maybe what's being taught in school isn't necessarily what we were taught in school. They're getting a different view of things sometimes. And so just to clear up that this isn't just a 3-day weekend, I figured I'd just pull this off the internet just to read it again, kind of while we're getting into the cigar. I figured if we've got time to spend together, let's do something fun, right? And let me know in the comments too if you don't like, because I tend to, in these reviews, I try to throw something else in there because I figure if we're sitting here together and I'm getting into the cigar, we might as well, I don't know, do something together. And if you really don't like that, just want to see the reviews, just let me know in the comments and I will stop doing this. So let me just read this little blurb that I got off of the internet that kind of just talks about what Memorial Day is and a little bit of the history of it. For many people, Memorial Day is the symbol of summer start. What's lost to some today is its original meaning. On May 5th, 1868, an organization of Union Army veterans, the Grand Army of the Republic, or GAR as it's referred to, established Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead with flowers. So it originally was called Decoration Day. At Arlington National Cemetery, then Congressman James Garfield spoke about the solemn occasion. This is what he said. "We do not know one promise these men made, one pledge they gave, one word they spoke. But we do know they summed up and perfected by one supreme act, the highest virtues of men and citizens. For love of country, they accepted death, and thus resolved all doubts, and made immortal their patriotism and their virtue." The GAR said Decoration Day should be observed on May 30th each year because the timing would permit flowers to be in bloom all over the country. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. Some local areas observed similar ceremonies starting in 1866. By the start of the 20th century, ceremonies were being held on May 30th around the country. And after World War I, the holiday was expanded to honor all American war fatalities. Congress recognized Decoration Day as a federal holiday in 1938, and the name Memorial Day became more commonplace after World War II. But the federal government didn't officially adopt that name until 1967. The Uniform Holiday Bill of 1968 moved the holiday from being always on the 30th to being the last Monday in May. So, anyway, just wanted to give you, a little background. I thought that was kind of interesting. And just to understand that basically what today was basically started out at was a day for people to decorate the graves of the fallen soldiers with flowers. So that's really what this day started out as, and then has developed into Memorial Day that we know today. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting, and if you didn't really know the history of that, I think it's maybe, makes the day a little different for you if at least you have some background. Anyway, there you go. Let's talk about this now. So I'm trying to figure out where to even start. So I do taste a little bit. There's a little bit on the cap. Oops, I'm already ashing. That fell quick. There's a little bit on the cap, not a ton of kind of a little bit of sweetness, but I know based on a comment I saw, they said it was really sweet. It's definitely not really sweet. If you're used to smoking like an acid line or anything like that, this is not very sweet. You almost can't barely taste it. Okay. I didn't at first, but I'm getting it more now. I'm definitely getting that clove. I think when they talk about spice in that description, I think the spice is clove. And I am starting to now get those more hints of coffee that I wasn't really getting in the very beginning. That's why it's funny with this being an infused cigar based around coffee and premium gourmet coffee beans or whatever. In the first little bit, because I'm only I'm a quarter inch into this thing, maybe half inch into this thing. I'm just now starting to taste that coffee. So that's why I always tell you, you know, don't judge a cigar on the first couple puffs. You gotta understand, it'd be like tasting an omelet while the eggs are still raw. You know, when you put together a recipe, whether it's food or a cigar, it's meant to be enjoyed at a certain, let's say, even temperature. So as you're smoking the cigar and the tobacco is heating up by you drawing the smoke through it, it's heating the cigar up, and so that's where the flavors start to develop. So I guess you could say, don't judge a cold cigar. Wait till you heat it up a little bit and maybe get those juices flowing in the cigar the way that it was intended for you to taste by the blender. Yeah, so not real sweet on the cap. Maybe a little flavoring. I'm definitely getting that clove. I'm definitely getting a little bit of coffee now. Maybe a little leathery note. I'm actually getting a lot of that in my mouth rather than even the retrohale. I'm trying to retrohale it too to see what I get, if I get some different aromas rather than just the tastes you're getting in your mouth. Yeah, I think when you retrohale, you're starting to pick up a little more, maybe a little nutty, a little leathery. If you're just going in your mouth, if it's just in your mouth, I think you're really just picking up that clove spicy taste, and you're getting maybe a little bit of that coffee. So again, the retrohaling is really important in getting more out of your cigars. So that's something you definitely want to develop if you don't already have that down. Anyway, so I'm not into it very far, but let's go ahead and take a pause. I'll get into it a little deeper because I don't want to make this video too long. Okay, I'm back more towards the mid-stick. So one thing I'll tell you, what I haven't touched on yet, is the construction. The construction seems really good, except I will tell you it's a little spongy, and I can attest to that, I think, with the fact that I really was babying this ash. I had it about that tall, and I kept almost having to hold the cigar up because I could tell if I just tipped a little bit, the ash is very fragile, and it finally just dropped off. So a lot of times what that tells me is it's a loosely rolled cigar, and if you squeeze it a little bit, you can feel it's kind of spongy inside, which means it wasn't rolled maybe tight enough. But I will tell you what's developed on this cigar that I really love. This thing has become ultra creamy. Like when you draw the smoke into your mouth, it almost doesn't feel like smoke. It almost feels like liquid. It's really weird. It's very thick, creamy smoke, which I don't think I've ever had a cigar that was that creamy, because you hear creamy thrown around a lot in cigars. This is ultra creamy then. So again, I'm getting not a lot of sweet off the cap. I'm getting that clove. I'm getting the coffee. Getting that really creamy flavor, and that really creamy like feel from it too. It's very smooth. I'd say overall this is a really good cigar. I kind of rate cigars, to me, as would I buy them again. To me that's just the ultimate. If they're any good, I'll buy them again. I'll get this again. I mean, I'll probably order a box of these. This, you know what, this almost, because you've seen my review and you know my opinion on the Isla del Sol cigar from Drew Estates. This to me almost tastes like a upscale Isla del Sol with a clove flavor in it. So I would argue, if you at all like Isla del Sol, like some of you do, Dave Bakes, a lot of you guys love Isla del Sol, Colby, give this a go, man. I think you'll dig this, because this is like I said, this is almost like a premium version of the Isla del Sol, then with a clove flavor on top. Pretty damn nice. I can tell you, this is it's a quality cigar. It really is. You can tell that it was when they talked about that the quality premium leaves that they're using, I believe it. This is very high quality tasting, and the construction, the feel, everything about it, you can tell that this is good stuff. They didn't slouch to do this, because I think a lot of people's view of infused cigars is that they're kind of low end. This is not low end. This is a nice cigar. and not much has changed, and I'm not sure that it will. I mean, again, I tried not to like make my videos too long, and I always end up doing it. So I may just wrap it up. I don't know, maybe I'll smoke a little bit further down towards the band, and I'll give you my last thoughts on it. So let's do that. But I'm just telling you, this thing's developed nicely. I'm impressed, and I will definitely buy this again. So let me get a little bit deeper into this, and then I'll give you my wrap up. So just hang tight. Okay, welcome back. As you can see, I've gotten down closer to the band. So let me just wrap this up for you. This is a fantastic cigar, in my opinion. If, like, my comparison to the Isla del Sol is an accurate one. This tastes like an Isla del Sol, but like a premium version. And I'll tell you, it's double the cost. You can get Isla del Sol's brick and mortar sometimes $4 or $5, maybe $6. This was $10. And then obviously online you can usually get better deals, but I would recommend going and picking one up, spend the $10, get one at a brick and mortar, try it before you buy it. But I'll tell you, my recap: construction is excellent, tiny bit spongy, ash is a little bit weak, but as you can see, the ash is holding now better. It draws great. I'd say it's not overly sweet on the tip, like someone had said. I don't agree with that. Flavor wise, you're definitely getting, I'd say, in order of appearance, you're getting clove, you're getting coffee, you're getting a little bit leathery note. That's really what I'm getting the most, is those. But I'll tell you what I'm not getting: no negative bitterness. I'm not getting any bite. I'm not getting anything like that, like a spice, like in a bad way spice. Because I'm not a peppery spice fan. The spice I'm getting from this is a smooth clove taste. And the overwhelming attribute that I really like about the cigar, it is ultra creamy and smooth. I'm just telling you, I would recommend you giving this a go. Maybe don't buy a box, go to a brick and mortar, pick one up, give it a shot. I think you're going to be happy with it. I am. And like I said before, I a lot of times gauge a cigar based on, will I buy it again? I will buy this again. This would be kind of my, like I said, I really feel this way. It's a premium Isla del Sol. This is kind of like a combination of an Isla del Sol with like a Cavendish pipe tobacco. It really, I just can't tell you enough how creamy the cigar is and how pleasant it is to smoke. The smoke output's good. It stays lit. The pairing with that coffee was fantastic. So I do agree with that too. I think this is definitely this is a good early morning cigar. This is with a cup of coffee. I think this is a good afternoon stick. And I also think this could be a good sitting around the fireplace at night, having maybe a cappuccino or, a little Baileys and cream, whatever. I'm telling you, this is a good one. So for me, thumbs up. Give it a shot. Anyway, hopefully that is a helpful review for you, so you can now add another awesome cigar to your repertoire. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and remember those who gave a lot for us to live in a country like we live. And again, like they say, some people gave their lives so that we could live like we live. And there's also a lot of people that gave up a lot too, that came back injured, came back, with PTSD. There's a lot of, war wounds aren't always just having, died. War wounds come in a lot of different ways, and we need to really just appreciate that everything that's been done for us, I think, in this country, so that we can live in a country like we live in. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Enjoy the rest of your day. Very good SoCal Cigars. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.